Hello and welcome back to Conquest Creations. Today is a very exciting day for Middle-earth strategy battle game fans all around the world. It is Bilbo Baggins' 11th birthday and Games Workshop has a very special announcement for us. So, in this video I'm going to be breaking down the news from Games Workshop and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts and my predictions on how it's going to impact the game. If you're not interested in my thoughts, fair enough, you can find a link to the article in the description down below. Let's get straight into this. So, Games Workshop announced this article, which is Hobbit Day Reveal, The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, Battle of Edoras starter set. So, as we were expecting, there was going to be a starter kit associated with the War in the Rohirrim, and we have it, Battle of Edoras. Wow, okay. They have a quick little video. I won't play that video. It's about a minute long and it's just panning through some of the models. Feel free to watch that for yourself after this video. And basically my conclusion from it is I need to buy a smoke machine because it makes models look absolutely awesome. But let's have a look at what it says up here. So it's Hobbit Day, the annual celebration of all things Middle-earth in honor of the 11th birthday of a certain Bilbo Baggins. Fantastic, that makes sense. I like that they release stuff on notable days like that, like the anniversaries of the movies as well. They do, so that's cool. All right, we couldn't let such a prestigious day pass without an appropriate gift. Cool. So we've sent a burglar into the lair of the game's developers to retrieve a copy of the brand new Lord of the Rings, War in the Rohirrim, Battle of Edoras starter set. Okay, what's in the box? So this is the big thing to get us started straight off with. So based on characters and events from the upcoming The Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim movie, this box set pitches the forces of Dunland, forces of Rohan against the Hill tribesmen. So Rohan versus Dunland, not a huge surprise there. It's exactly what I was expecting, which is good. And let's see what it says next. There are 56 all-new plastic miniatures. That's quite a lot, including mounted and on-foot versions of 4 heroes, as well as some classic Rohan houses and a 3x3 playmat. We're going to come back to that 3x3 thing later, but that is absolutely massive. Come back to that. So, shows us the contents. We've got Haleth, Prince of Rohan, Hammer, Prince of Rohan, 24 Warriors of Rohan, Wolf, Leader of the Dunlendings, General Targ, and 24 Hill Tribesmen. So straight off the bat, we have Haleth and Hammer. Now, in the current game, we already have a Haleth and a Hammer. Hammer is, I think he is the chief bodyguard of Theoden. Might not be the chief one. In the movies and books, he's slightly different. But this is a different Hammer. This name was passed down and used several times. So this Hammer and the Hammer in Lord of the Rings, completely different. Same with Haleth. Haleth is that little kid we see at Helm's Deep. This is a completely different Haleth. Okay, let's have a look at some of these miniatures. So to start off, we have the Rohirrim men of Rohan, a hardy folk. Yep, cool. There's 28 Rohan miniatures. And these are Helm's sons, so Prince Haleth and Hammer, as we were saying. And here we've got Haleth. This guy looks pretty cool, to be honest. I mean, okay, before I get into that, firstly, I have to say, this contents of the box is slightly different to what I was expecting. Firstly, the trailer had a lot of Helm Hammerhand's daughter, Hera, so I was expecting her to be in the starter kit. Now, my guess is that in that trailer that really focused on her character, but she's maybe not as big of a character as that trailer made it seem, because obviously we have the 2 sons in the starter kit here. My guess was it was going to be Hera and Helm in the starter kit, so obviously they've gone a different direction, and I had no idea what was going to be in the evil side. I was expecting to see a monster or a large model in the starter kit, just because that's pretty normal for Games Workshop. Like, we look at the other big releases, like the 40k starter set, the AOS starter set, and they like having big centerpiece models. We didn't get that here, which is a little bit of a surprise to me, but to get 56 miniatures, I think we're doing all right out of this. And the 2 Rohan houses as well. I don't think I mentioned that before. You actually get some decent terrain to start off with. I'm a big terrain guy, and don't worry, we'll talk about terrain in a little bit as well. But all that aside, we're into Haleth. This guy looks pretty sick. He's got a unhelmeted head on foot and a helmeted head on horse. My guess is that he has options so that he can, like, there's 2 unhelmeted heads and there's 2 helmeted heads, so you can decide if he has a helmet or not. That's how the Theoden kit was, that's how the AMA kit was, and I'm expecting that's going to be the case here as well. I love building my models without helmets because I like painting those faces, but it gives you the option. He does have those shaved sides, and I think he looks pretty cool. He's got a big axe. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of the paint job, just the color scheme on that horse, so I think I'll be painting mine slightly differently because I'll definitely be getting this box set. But look, overall, a great miniature. I'm a big fan of it. Keen to see what he does in game. Now, my guess is that he's going to be around that 120 point mark, kind of similar to what AMR is at the moment. And then that goes into the next son, which is Hammer, Prince of Rohan. Hammer is the youngest son of Helm, and is something of a warrior poet. All right. Capable fighter in his own right, particularly adept with a bow, and rides to war alongside his father and brother in defense of Edoras. You'll find 2 versions, one foot and one mounted. Now, for those of you who don't play the game yet, or you're just looking at getting into it, it's a big deal to have your heroes on foot and mounted, because if you start on a horse, your horse can be killed and you have to replace the model with the foot model. So you definitely need both of them. Now, my guess is for Haleth that he'll be about 120 points, and Hammer seems like he's smaller. He's a warrior poet, not purely a warrior, and he's an archer hero, so I'm guessing he's going to be around that, let's say 80 point marks. There's about 200 points in heroes on the good side. And I'm a big fan of his model on horse. I'm not sure this is the best angle for his foot model, because his head looks like it sticks out a little bit. He's got a bit of a funny hairdo, but I'm sure that from different angles that's going to look nice. And I'm, again, very confident that you have the option to put that helmeted head on him as well. So if you're not a big fan of that head, you've got the helmet there. I think his horse model in particular is probably my favorite of these 4 Rohan hero models. It's a nice dynamic pose. He's got the bow on his back and a sword in his hand. Just looks cool. Okay. This next one is the big one. We have Warriors of Rohan. So this is updated plastic Warriors of Rohan. These guys look absolutely incredible. There's 24 miniatures in here, but I think there's 2 sets of 12. So you can see like this guy here and this guy here, that's the same model, which is pretty normal. That's what they've done with the rest of the kits. And I think that these models look absolutely incredible. I just want to pull up the old Warriors of Rohan. Warriors of Rohan, GW. So, this is what we currently have. Open image in new tab. Let's zoom in on that a little bit. Control, there we go. So this is what we currently have, and this is what we're getting. It's a huge difference, but it's not a huge difference at the same time. They're the exact same essence. They're drawn from the exact same concept art, the exact same, soldiers that we see in the movies. It just looks like these are modernized and sharper. I saw someone on Facebook say, this looks like the 480p and this looks like the 1080p. And I think that's a great way to put it. These just look higher resolution, crisper. I like the poses more. I think they're incredible while still being really consistent with the previous ones. They're just an upgrade, a straight upgrade on top of them. And this makes me really excited for what we could see for the rest of the plastic miniatures. Now, I think I've gone in a video before saying, I don't think we really need new plastic warriors and Minas Tirith, because how are they going to be different? And I'm happy to say I was completely wrong. If this is the difference between, these Warriors of Rohan and these new ones, I want to see this happen across the board. I want to see this happen with Minas Tirith, with Isengard, with the Orcs, just everything. If it could get these new, plastic kits of this standard, that is going to be absolutely incredible. And I think they're going to be, the same rules as what they currently have. Just I think this guy here is my favorite pose with his sword over the shield, looking absolutely fantastic. Okay, so those are all the good guys. And I think that there's a lot more to come as well. Obviously, in the trailer for War in the Rohirrim, we see Hera, we see Helm, we see Hera talking to an eagle, so I'm expecting all of that to come. And if we're getting Warriors of Rohan, I'm expecting we're getting new Riders of Rohan of this standard as well. Hopefully even a Royal Guard type troop. I'm not as confident on that one, but I'm very confident with those 4 things. More Riders, Hera, Helm, and an Eagle for the good side at least. All right, let's get into the evil side. And we've got Wolf, leader of the Dunlandings. Now, this guy's been revealed before. I didn't talk about him when it came out, but I'm a big fan of this model. Now, a lot of people said he looked a little bit too Age of Sigmar because his horse was really thick, and I think it's at risk of being completely incorrect here because I don't really know anything about horses, but I know enough that there's multiple different types of horses. And this looks like a normal horse, and this looks like one of the big draft horses that pulls heavy things.
Sure.
Feel free to absolutely roast me in the comments, but they look like different breeds of horses. This is one of those thick, chunky horses that pulls heavy things, and the other one's a normal horse. Yeah, we'll see how the comment section goes. I think this guy looks really good. I'm a big fan of his face in particular on this horse model. I think the paint job on him is very dark. We've got a black horse with black boots, with black pants, with a black shirt, with a black fur on his coat. So when I'm painting him, obviously, you know, they're constrained by what they see in the movie because it needs to match that. But when I paint my version of him, he's going to be a little bit more colorful, and I think that's going to help elevate him a little bit. But you know, the paint job on the face here is incredible. I think this is an awesome looking model. Now, I talked about how with the good side, I'm expecting that Haleth will be about 120 points, Hammer about 80 points, so 200 points in heroes. I think that for this box set, they're going to be very well balanced against each other's. For other starter kits, not just for the Middle-earth strategy battle game, but all of Games Workshop's games, you know, one side might end up being a ton more points than the other side, and I think that that's not going to be the case here. I reckon that that this guy, like these heroes and these troops, are going to be about equal. So I'm guessing he'll be around that 120 point mark. Next we have General Targ. Now this guy I don't think was in the trailer. I watched the trailer a few times. He might be kind of a background guy. But kind of totally out of the blue, I wasn't expecting to see this guy at all. And he's looking pretty commanding. He's got just the biggest sword in the world, which is kind of awesome. And again, he's got a big chunky draft horse, and I think that's a cool point of difference between just the normal cavalry and him. And everyone knows that if you're in wargaming and you point, you are a commander. I'm a big fan of that. So pretty cool model overall. I like that he doesn't necessarily look that evil. Like you could say this was a good guy and that would make sense. And I think that's really cool. And let's see what it says about him. So he's a trusted advisor of Wolf and his father Freka, and is skilled in the ways of strategy and warfare. He's a ruthless commander and fearsome fighter who shares his liege disdain for the Rohirrim under Helm's rule. So that gives us no indication on what his rules are, but I'm guessing that, yeah, as I said before, Wolf and Targ put together will be similar points to Haleth and Hammer put together. I'd love to have more speculation on what his rules would be, but it would literally just be me making stuff up. So let's keep moving on to the Tribesmen of Dunland, and oh my god, these are good models. These are like the wild men, and I think these look absolutely incredible. There's 24 of them again, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, that's probably 24. I think it said 24 earlier. Yeah, these guys look really, really good. I'm a big fan of the murder hobos in game. That's the name that the Wild Men of Dunland have got, and they look absolutely awesome. So there's quite a bit in their text here. It's the longest block of text so far. But it says, in the hills that surround Rohan dwell gruff tribes. They're descendants of the Dunlendings who were driven from their ancestral lands by the Rohirrim. With Wolf to lead them, these fractured communities have become a fearsome army capable of threatening Edoras itself. The counterpart to the warriors of Rohan, the hill tribesmen carry a variety of spears, swords, axes, and bows into battle, as well as flaming torches with which to burn Edoras to the ground. There are different weapon options for many of the models, so your force can be as varied as it is deadly. Very exciting. And it says, if you wish to build your army around the events of the Lord of the Rings, Hill Tribesmen have been sympathetically designed to serve as wild men of Dunland as a part of the army of the White Hand under the sway of Saruman. So I think these guys are going to have two profiles. There's going to be the Hill Tribesmen for the War of the Rohirrim era, and then the wild men for the Lord of the Rings era. And wow, they look absolutely awesome. So you can see here, this guy looks like he has a two-handed axe, and this guy looks like he has a spear, and it looks like those parts could be pretty interchangeable. We've also got the option for shields and some pretty wicked looking, like there's a scimitar in there, that looks like an axe in there, and we've got archers as well. The main thing I'm excited for is these torches. I think they look absolutely great. They're going to be a tricky challenge to paint, but I'm excited to do something different. I think I'm probably going to put as many torches on as possible. I don't know what their rules are. I don't know what they do yet, but I know that they look absolutely awesome. So that's basically what I'm going to go off of them. I really like that they're moving in towards more plastic, like the multi-part plastic options. So yeah, any variety is great. I would love it if this plastic kit also had the option for things like a banner and a captain, but I guess we'll have to find out. I kind of think not, because if I was them, I would have revealed that with them. Okay, now it gets into what else is in the box. For all, yeah, those, yep, there's a bunch more. Okay. Firstly, this is a great time to interrupt and tell you about the terrain we make here at Conquest Creations, because we're about to talk about the terrain that comes in here. A couple years ago now, we put out the Kingdom of Saxonia set, which is obviously based on the Anglo-Saxons in history, and I think that that is a great set to use for wargaming. You can probably see what I'm saying here. I've played a ton of games on the Kingdom of Saxonia, and I think it's going to get a lot of play with this new edition of Middle-earth Strategy Battle Game. You can find it over on our website, or you can find it on My Mini Factory. On our website, it costs $120, but that is Australian dollars, so that ends up being quite a lot cheaper for most other currencies in the world. By picking up our terrain, you're supporting the channel and helping us make more videos. Now, this comes in the form of STL files, but if you want to get physical pieces of the terrain because you don't have a 3D printer of yourself, then you can check out the Buy Printed page on our website, where you can find merchants who have bought a merchant license from me, and they have the right to distribute the physical products. And if you're a 3D printer shop looking to get started with your side hustle or new business, or just expanding your offering of products, you can find a merchant license on our web store as well. All right, let's get back into having a look at this stuff. So this is the big thing I want to talk about. Honestly, something that I don't know if it's the most exciting part, but it has the potential to be one of my most exciting parts. Included in the box is a 3x3 paper playing mat. Okay, I don't care about the paper playing mat, to be honest, but I care about the fact that it's 3x3. Now, it could just be, so at the moment, Middle-earth is 90% of the time played on a 4x4, sometimes a 6x4. And it could just be that because this is a starter kit, these armies aren't massive, although they will probably be around 400 points. I reckon 200 points in heroes, yeah, they're probably 5 or 6 points, 6 or 7 points a model. Yeah, it's probably about 400 points. Maybe slightly less than that, 350-ish. But, sorry, that's totally beside the point. We got two 350-point armies. Maybe they just play on a slightly smaller table than 4x4, because 4x4 is pretty big for 350 points. Or the game is changing to being on a 3x3 table by default. Now that, I think, would be an incredible improvement to the game, and I think that's probably a little bit controversial. Obviously, a lot of people, myself included, have 4x4 tables. I've got, just over in the corner over there, 4, 5, 6, I've got 7 4x4 tables in the corner over there, in a big pile. So changing to 3x3 obviously means those 4x4s aren't fully relevant. Now, the important thing to say is obviously you can play on whatever table size you want. Like, if you don't like 3x3, cool. For casual games, just play on 4x4s. Now, for 40k, when they changed the table size, they did say you can still play 6x4s for any games, even competitive games. So that, I presume, if they do this, is how they'll go about that. But I think 3x3 is such a good standard for the board size. Now, I'm a big terrain guy. Obviously, my whole business kind of revolves around making terrain for wargaming. So it might sound strange that I'm really excited about smaller tables, but smaller tables means that you can have the exact same amount of terrain that you would have had, the same amount of buildings and scatter terrain, just compressed in more tightly. So the boards are a lot more dense. And if you don't want to compress it in more tightly, you just need less terrain, so there's less stuff to store, and it's easier to play with. I really, really hope that this 3x3 happens. The other point that I think is really important is I've played a ton of games where I set up a full 4x4 table. It looks fantastic. I'm really happy with it. I want to play on it. And then like 90% of the game happens within a little 1x1 square. So in those situations, all of the table is a little bit wasted. So I think by compressing it, it just reduces that wastage. And also, I think the other big thing is that this is going to be a big nerf for shooting armies. I think shooting armies are super, super powerful and have a pretty negative play experience in the game sometimes. So by reducing the table size, you're going to be reducing that significantly as well, because there's less places for them to hide. It's also going to help those armies that are slower at moving, like the dwarves, because there's just less ground to cover. So I really, really hope that 3x3 is now the default size for the game. Okay, it says you get 2 of the classic Rohan houses. This is a plastic kit that came out with the War of the Rohirrim a little while ago, and it's a great kit, to be honest. It has a little bit of scattered terrain, and it's modular, so you can build it in a few different ways. All right, let's see what else we say. So it says, with miniatures and terrain in hand, the board is set, piece of moving, you'll also need the rules. Yes, that makes sense. So we got a new rules manual, 176 pages. We also get a leaflet for scenarios to play for the Battle of Edoras, and there's dice and range rulers, and we are at the end. It says Battle of Edoras starter set and the new edition of Middle-earth Strategy Battle Game as we get, they're just saying they'll give us more information, so stay tuned to Warhammer Community. Fantastic, that makes sense. Okay, Well, that's the article. Now I want to quickly talk about what I'm expecting to see in the future, what I want to see in the future based on this article. So pretty much, as I said before, Plastic Warriors would be fantastic. I think that we're very likely to see, I went through what I was expecting to see for the good side, so Hera Helm, Riders, and an Eagle. For the evil side, I think we're going to see maybe a new Watch from the Water, because that's in the trailer. I'm guessing there's going to be some sort of elite Dunlin Troop option. We'll see Freka, who is Wolf's father. We will see some sort of a Mumak kill. We see that in the trailer a lot. So a Mumak with, I'm guessing that Mumak will come with Haradrim warriors inside it, which would be pretty cool. I'm guessing the Haradrim are commanded by like a commander, so maybe he'll get some sort of rules. And what else? We do see a Snow Troll in the trailer. That seems kind of more like a wild animal than anything, but you know, that could also be a model. So there's a ton of stuff to come there, which is really exciting. Yeah, this is just the biggest, most exciting thing that I could have woken up to this morning. And yeah, I'm obviously pretty excited about it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you as excited as I am? Are you planning on picking up the new kit? Or do you think you'll give this one a miss? I reckon this is going to be the perfect place for new players to start and for older players to get some new armies in their collection. All right, this has been Conquest Creations. Thank you for listening to me talk. And until next time, have a good one.